The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
That's Brian and Kenzie on Q101 with Cara filling in for Kenzie while she's on maternity leave. And Cara just told me to taste something in the White Stripes. So White Stripes, or Jack White, I should say, played 2022's Q101 Twisted Christmas and was just awesome. And Cara just said out of nowhere, what did you just tell us?
Thought I puked in my purse at that show. Technically, it was on the way home. Well, I didn't feel right when I got there, so I've still never seen Jack White, one of my favorite performers. I was so excited about that. I get to the Aragon, don't feel good, realize I'm sick. It's like food poisoning or something. So I took an Uber back, and I used to drive for Lyft. I know that they're going to charge me $50 if I puke in the back.
It's even more than that, I believe.
Yeah, well, keep in mind, I'm not drunk, so I'm conscious of this. I'm just sick. So I just had a choice, opened up my purse and saved myself $50 or whatever it is.
Puked in your purse?
Puked in my purse.
Did you get all of it in the purse?
Yes.
That's pretty impressive.
Do you still use that purse?
No.
Okay.
Was it an expensive purse?
I don't even care. Like, I let it sit. This is gross.
No, it hasn't been gross at all. But now it's going to get gross.
I let it sit for a couple months to dry up so that I could clean off any necessary things like credit cards or whatever.
Yeah.
You.
It was ewy.
Yeah. Well, now you know a little bit more about Cara.
I'm frugal when I'm sick. Yeah.
The Q101 Morning Crew. Sports.
All right. Well, the Bulls won last night over the Kings, 119-109, and the Kings blew a 14-point lead. Hey, that's the Bulls game plan.
That's kind of what we do.
That's usually what they do. Bulls were 13-1 over the final 4 minutes over the Kings. Kobe White dropped 37.
He's been very, very good ever since Zach LaVine got hurt.
Isn't that interesting? And then also Debo dropped 33 tomorrow at the Jazz. But just nice little night for the Bulls, who are at this point, Case always has this for me, where they would be the play-in game right now, the playoffs, if they started today.
They're a play-in team right now, which, of course, if they won a play-in game, they would then make the playoffs. They're still a little bit below 500. As we sit right now, they're 29-32.
Yeah.
But the Kings are a very good team this year. The Kings are 8 games over 500, so that's a great win.
The Kings are always quietly good.
I don't know if they've always been quietly good.
But they seem like they're always better than you think, that team, and just no one cares about the Sacramento Kings.
They did go 18 years in a row without making the playoffs until last year.
Yeah.
But for the past 2 years, they've been quietly good.
Okay, maybe I remembered that wrong. The Blackhawks lost to the Avalanche 5-0, just like they did last Thursday. 5-0 to the Avalanche. And Cara, big hockey mom, or son plays hockey. So check out these stats here, Cara. They've lost 7 in a row. They've won 2 games since January 19th overall. So I know we got the futures bright with Connor Bedard, and he is still in these losses.
It's still fun to watch.
Amazing.
Yeah.
He is gifted.
Yeah.
He really is. And I don't know. This is what I wonder. I mean, I remember the Patrick Kane time, of course, and you see the 17-year-old kid, same deal. But also other players were coming in at that time, and it was just, it took 3 years.
Yeah.
But then you got Stanley Cup and several more. I don't know. I don't know if I see the light right now. It's just hard to see it.
I bet you in 2 years, 3 years.
You think so?
Yeah.
Make some big moves?
Yep.
Okay.
That's my prediction.
I believe you. The Bears traded a 5th-round pick yesterday. They have a bunch of picks. Traded a 5th-round pick for a Bills offensive lineman named Ryan Bates, 27-year-old guy. They paid him like $20 million 2 years ago for a 2-year deal. He wasn't a full-time starter, but he's a big dog. He comes out of the Bills, and we need guys on the line. Is he going to be any good? I don't know. I mean, I know we need some big dogs on the line. The line sucks, even though it got a little better for Justin Fields last year. So bringing in people like this, trading a 5th-round pick, which is, a lot of people say 5th-round picks aren't important. They are. They're very important. But every pick is, you can find gold in. So hopefully he's better than someone they would draft.
That's a very glass half full outlook. Every pick you can find gold in.
That's right. I mean, Tom Brady was one of the last guys picked in the NFL draft.
Brock Purdy.
Brock Purdy?
He was the last pick in the draft. He made the Super Bowl this year.
That's right. He was the last pick.
Yeah. So Brock Purdy.
Okay, no, for a minute I was trying to think if he was even undrafted. I thought at one point he didn't even get drafted.
He was Mr. Irrelevant.
He was the
Mr.
last
Irrelevant, they call it. Brock Purdy.
I like this guy, Ryan Bates, because he went to Penn State, and I like my offensive linemen to be Big Ten graduates.
Usually good.
They're hardy, full-sized men.
Yeah. They also can do amazing beer bongs. Like you load that up with a 7 or 8. Pour a little Mad Dog 2020 in there. Offensive linemen, they're good at that.
This is true. I knew an offensive lineman that played at Purdue, and that man could drink.
Yeah. So hopefully he's going to be good here. Caitlin Clark broke the NCAA scoring record set by Pistol Pete Maravich. So the all-time leading scorer, men or women, Caitlin Clark from
That's so
Iowa.
cool.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
I love watching her. Ever since we stole that password for Peacock, I could watch the women's basketball games. And she's unbelievable. Think about Pistol Pete, though, not diminishing what she did, but Pistol Pete set that record with no three-point line. No three-point line.
I don't know if it makes me respect his game more or less.
All the players he played against were not as good?
Yeah, just the accountants and the plumbers that he played against.
That's in college. He did. He was playing against
the brainiacs that he played against, the people that were more focused on their academics.
It's a classic Gen Z response here. That everybody sucked back then. The people that kicked their ass.
Sucked. I'm just saying players are better now.
They're lazier though too. They're better athletes, but they're lazier.
I'm not arguing.
They
that.
drank better back in the day. I guarantee.
Well, they drank when they played. That was their Gatorade.
Yeah.
So the Bears and the White Sox are now talking about doing a combined financial plan for both new stadiums with the city. They're just really working every angle here. When I read this, I was kind of groggy, and I thought they meant they were going to build a stadium together and use it.
That's not what this means?
No, it doesn't. They're just going to financially partner to make two stadiums. This is just one of the possibilities. Because remember in the old days, you watch a Raiders game and they played baseball on that field too?
I loved it because the Miami Dolphins had the same thing because the Marlins played there too.
And you'd see like the dirt when the NFL guys were playing.
Yeah.
It looked like the field had alopecia. If we could just go back to those days, when those fields were like real redheads there. And,
so they're just going to be a tag team?
They're just trying to get the money any way they can. Suck the money out of us, the taxpayers, for their new damn stadiums. Just pay for them yourselves, team. Look, I'm a huge sports fan. Do I want new stadiums? Sure. Let's do it. But you pay for them. Yeah. I'm not paying for anything else in this damn city. I can't.
How come when they built these stadiums 30 years ago, they didn't build them to last more than 30 years?
Well, listen. Comiskey, or Guaranteed Rate, or U.S. Cellular Field, is still a damn nice stadium.
It is.
So it's 33 years old, I believe, at this point. So it'll survive. It could be fine. They just want new shiny things. They want new toys. I want new toys, too.
Why do I care if the White Sox and Bears team up and both get new stadiums? That doesn't do me any good as the taxpayer.
Right.
Well, like I said, I want the Bears to have a new stadium because Soldier Field is a disaster, the remodel, in my opinion. Some people like it, whatever.
I'm not a fan of it either.
Yeah, I just don't like it. White Sox Park, I'm a Cubs fan. What do you care? Are you White Sox or Cubs?
I'm either or.
Oh, no, you're not.
I'm not a huge baseball fan, so I'll go to either. Like I liked going to the Sox games because they have parking.
Oh, what do you
Literally.
hate? Do you hate puppies and children too, since you don't like baseball? Good Lord.
Well, she's a classic hockey mom.
Yeah.
She's upset that hockey isn't getting more attention.
Exactly.
That's fair.
You're those people that say, like, hockey's better than all these sports. They can kick their ass.
Absolutely.
Hockey players can kick all their asses.
In fact, I just saw a team playing football on ice. It was the best thing ever.
Germans,
that should be a new sport.
Yeah, we played that audio last week.
Yeah.
Very entertaining.
Yeah.
I'm up for it. I'm fine
Yeah.
with it. But finally, Jason Kelce retired yesterday, the center for the Philadelphia Eagles. You know his name mainly because of Travis Kelce dating Taylor Swift. I guarantee a year ago, not many people knew his name. I did because I worked in Philadelphia. My wife's from there. I did sports talk radio, interviewed him a ton of times, and he's an amazing guy. Great, great guy. Boy, was he emotional. He cried for the first 10 minutes, not even getting it out, because he doesn't want to quit, but his body's, he's got 3 kids now, and he's falling apart.
He's my favorite Kelce.
Is that right?
I love him.
You got 2 to choose from.
Yeah.
He did say something that can resonate with some Bears fans when Nick Foles came from Philadelphia after he won the Super Bowl. He played a little here, just had some nice games. And Nick Foles was known for Cara being well endowed.
Oh. And I'm sorry, what sport are we talking about? Now I care.
Now you care about football. So in the speech yesterday, he talked about the play that won the Super Bowl for the Eagles. It was called the Philly Special, or Philly Philly, when Nick went to the sideline and he made the call. He told the coach, let's do the crazy play. And let's do that and win the game. And that's kind of what happened. He's got him ahead at that point. Here's Jason Kelce in his speech yesterday describing that situation.
I won't forget Nick Foles having the game of his life on the biggest stage possible. And the biggest dick on the team going up to Doug Peterson and asking for the Philly Special. And Doug Peterson having the biggest balls in the stadium.
I was going to cry again. Yeah, he cried a lot.
That's a really funny thing to cry after, though.
I know that part, yeah. Because he was he killed it. He's amazing. If you ever watch his Super Bowl speech after the Eagles won, great guy, deserving, and it shows how much you love something. You have to give it up. Think about that today.
It's the only thing he's ever known. That's why I empathize with a lot of athletes, and I normally don't have a problem with how much money they make because to get to that level is the only skill you can have. You
He
have
would
to
be
throw
a
away
great color
academics.
commentator,
He
though.
would.
He's so great at speaking.
I'm sure he's going to do that.
Yeah.
Probably go into that mode. And just, props to him. Props to him.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. So we have tickets for Alkaline Trio coming up Saturday, March 16th, St. Patty's Day weekend. Tickets are on sale now. That's at the Aragon. That's going to be an awesome show with Alkaline Trio, our homeboys. Live Nation are working with us on this one. We got a couple pair of tickets, actually. One pair for the person that beats Cara in trivia. Cara filling in for Kenzie here on maternity leave. You throw up on a purse on the way into work today or no?
No, I did not.
Okay, good.
Maybe later.
Okay, that's good. She's a little bit alert here. So 312-591-8300. Call right now to compete in trivia against Cara for your chance at those Alkaline Trio tickets.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101 with Cara Caravu doing trivia today. And listen, if you like Alkaline Trio, don't go anywhere. I know we're going to pick somebody to compete in trivia, but maybe it'll take care of you anyway. So stay right here.
You can't defeat her. She's too powerful.
Clash with Kenzie.
Let the battle begin.
Q 101.
Here we go. Taking on Cara Caravu. Cara, how you feeling about trivia?
Okay.
Okay. You didn't throw up in a purse before
No,
a
I
minute
did
ago.
not. I did not.
That seems to be your rep on the street these days.
That's what she's known for.
That's right. So here we go. Stephanie checking in from Chicago, going to compete against Cara. Ahoy. Tell us something about yourself, Stephanie.
Ahoy, good morning. I am a fifth grade teacher. I'm from Hawaii, and I moved to Chicago only 2 years ago, and I'm a super massive Alkaline Trio fan.
All right. That's a lot of stuff there. How was the adjustment from Hawaii to Chicago?
Pretty rough, pretty rough.
But you're staying. You're staying. You like it, right?
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Ooh. I didn't expect that answer.
At least hopefully
She's
you
from
can-
Hawaii. How did you not expect that answer?
Well, who leaves Hawaii? Like, to go to, why do you do that?
I had a little bit of island fever. I lived there for a really long time.
Who are you running from, Stephanie?
I know, right? I shouldn't be on the radio. They'll find me.
That's right. All right, well, listen, compete against Cara here. Got Alkaline Trio tickets. Sounds like you're a huge fan. They are amazing, our homeboys. So listen carefully. If Cara gets one wrong, you can steal a point. She can do the same with you. Call heads or tails, Stephanie. 1, 2, 3.
Heads.
It's tails. Hawaii thing screwing you again. All right, Cara, question number 1. Okay. Sheldon Cooper is the name of the main character in which sitcom?
Well, I can think of two.
Well, name one of them.
Young Sheldon.
Oh, that's true. I'm going to give her that.
Yeah. You said name one.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're looking for the Big Bang Theory or
Right.
Young Sheldon.
But
Cara's got a
that's
point.
fair. Cara actually found a loophole in that question.
Is Young Sheldon as big as Big Bang Theory?
It's not as big, but it's actually funnier.
I like it.
Yeah, I've caught some
Yeah.
Young Sheldon. I find myself laughing more than I want to.
Yeah.
All right. There we go. I didn't know enough about either, I guess. I've seen the Big Bang Theory, and I get why it was huge and fun and popular, but I didn't watch Young Sheldon.
You got to catch up.
Yeah.
I'm still finishing up The Bear, which is amazing. Let's see here. Back to
Stephanie.
Stephanie, what's the highest score you can reach in bowling?
100?
It's not 100. Cara?
Probably the highest score I've reached, though. 300, right?
300 is right.
Oh,
I know. Back to Cara.
right.
Which U.S. state is known as America's Dairyland?
To me?
Yes,
Oh,
it's
sorry.
Cara's, right? Yeah.
Wisconsin. God, I wanted to win these tickets. I'm
Yeah,
sorry that I knew that.
Well, you should suck more than this.
thank you, Cara.
Yes. Back to Stephanie.
Yeah, it's 3-0.
Stephanie, what happened during the years of 1939 to 1945?
World War II.
Yes. Hawaii tie in there?
Oh, yeah.
See that question went to her?
Well, she's also a 5th grade teacher. She just knows that.
I think from if you lived in Hawaii
Well,
a
they
while.
must not teach bowling then.
No, not a lot of bowling out there.
There
That's
should
too
be
bad.
a bowling class in 5th grade. 5th graders would love that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Do you teach like one class or you like everything?
English.
English.
Nice.
Okay.
Respect.
Back to Cara.
That's right. 3-1 back to Cara.
What plant is known to help heal a sunburn, Cara?
Oh, aloe.
Aloe's right. Cara's got 4.
I didn't know that was a plant. I thought that was a brand.
Like aloe vera.
Yeah.
Aloe vera. Okay, Stephanie, got to get your point here. Which actor voiced Barry B. Benson in the Bee movie?
Ben Stiller.
Ben Stiller did not do a good guess, though. Cara for the win?
Is it when you say bee movie, if it's a movie about the bees, then it's Jerry Seinfeld.
It is that movie about the bees.
Okay, you have to give her these tickets. I feel horribly guilty for being smart today.
Well, you got to toughen up. You got to toughen up, Cara. You can't just give these things out to everybody.
Oh.
But we'll give you the tickets. You want to
good.
go there, Stephanie?
Oh, my goodness. Yes, I would love to. I'm so excited. Thank you so much.
All right, you're going. But you have to guarantee you stay in Chicago for the next 22 years.
Okay, I might sign something.
Okay, good. We'll have the paperwork drawn up. Feinstein, and Wagner will have the paperwork for you.
Clash with Kenzie. The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
But here's what we're going to do. We were off yesterday, so we have another pair of tickets to give away for Alkaline Trio. Stay here in just 3 minutes. Actually, just 2 minutes and 32 seconds after White Reaper. We'll give away another pair of tickets.
Sweet.
For Alkaline Trio. White Reaper, veterans of Q101's Twisted Christmas shows.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
White Reaper, friends of Brian and Kenzie here on Q101. They came in on the new Brian and Kenzie podcast. You can go back and find the interview with them around Twisted Christmas back in December. So fun. Those guys were amazing.
I love it. I love that song.
I love it when bands win you over live, too. That you like a song and then you see them live and you like them more. That's the kind of band they are.
Yep.
You like them more live. So we just gave away tickets to Alkaline Trio, also a veteran of Q101's Twisted Christmas shows. Our homeboys, Byline Bank Aragon Ballroom, they're playing on March 16th. St. Patty's Day weekend. Good luck with that. Tickets are on sale now, but we gave away tickets. Cara generously just dished them out to Stephanie, the 5th grade teacher from Hawaii. Said, yeah, you can have them, even though I won trivia. You're so generous.
I mean, it's so cold for her.
Yeah, it's still cold. So we'll give away another pair right now. 312-591-8300. Caller 10 gets some. So everybody has a chance to experience the joy of Alkaline Trio. And a band called Drug Church opened that up. Kona Case's bands that took me up to. They're awesome. So get there early for that show. So 312-591-8300. You will be there. Cara, I think you could probably relate to this vibe I've been having since the pandemic. That whenever I think on something, I get in a little scrolling wormhole, a doom scroll, and then all of a sudden you see something and you figure, oh my God, that must have been about 6-7 years ago.
Yeah.
And turns out it's 20 years ago. There's so much stuff that 2004, for whatever reason, had going on. And we've been highlighting those like in the last month or so. For example, there was, we talked about Linkin Park, their CD being released. We talked about Howard Dean going, yeah! Talked about that. But I'm just going to play you this theme and see if this hits some, triggers something for you here. 20 years ago, this show debuted.
So you want to be a player, but your wheels ain't flying. You got to hit us up to get a pimped out ride. Damn right.
Sure, it wasn't from 1974? That's what it sounds like.
It did sound like that.
Yeah.
Pimp My Ride debuted on MTV 20 years ago.
Wow.
I loved that show.
I did too. I vaguely remember it because I think I didn't have cable, so I didn't see it at friends' houses. But didn't somebody have a washer and dryer in their car?
They did.
Yeah.
There was so much wild stuff in that. And, you got to put your back, again, if you weren't, alive or watching TV at that time, maybe you remember it. We were all fascinated with Cribs first on MTV.
Yes.
The Cribs shows where they went in people's homes and saw all Motley Crue's house or whatever, Tommy Lee's house, let's say. And they went in people's homes. And it was kind of that first view. It was pre-social media 2004.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there was MySpace just around about that, but nothing like we have now. So it was your first look, and now it's nothing. Now you can go on Instagram and see someone's house, but back then you could see, where everybody lived, and these houses were ridiculous.
Yeah.
Found out later people rented out a lot of those houses for
the
Cribs.
show? Oh.
Yeah. I mean, they were renting them, whatever, but some of the people that owned them were just, I remember Tommy Lee's house specifically, but Redman too, the rapper Redman, when his was a dump.
Yeah, that was just his place.
That was his place.
I think Redman and Steve-O were the only two people on Cribs that unfortunately showed their real places, because Steve-O, do you remember his episode?
Vaguely.
Okay, so they did a whole Jackass episode of Cribs.
Yeah.
And Bam had his castle and Knoxville had whatever. Chris Pontius was living in his car. That was his episode of Cribs. He only had his thongs and a steel guitar.
That's great.
And then Steve-O, this is when Steve-O was deep into drug addiction. So he has a skateboard ramp, and it's like a one-bedroom apartment. He has a skateboard ramp in his apartment. He's got beer stacked from the floor to the ceiling. And Knoxville actually says, there's an interview where he goes, filming Cribs with Steve-O was when I knew he needed help the most, because he was deranged. He was out of his mind.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's what led us to Pimp My Ride, because once we saw everybody's house, we're like, well, I want to see their cars now. And then, but it's also pimping out people's cars. Exhibit, the rapper, was the host of that show.
That's right.
And it was, I'm not a big car guy. I know there's a lot of people out there that are, but just to see what they did with these cars, like these pieces of garbage, like an 87 Honda Accord, and turned it into like a recording studio. It was awesome. And that show, 20 years ago, it only lasted 3 seasons.
Really?
They still do Cribs. I mean, they've redone Cribs now. It came back.
Yeah, they bring them back all the time to try to get to catch on. I don't know why they can't have Cribs catch on again. People still have houses.
Well, like I was telling the Cara while you were answering the phones for Alkaline Trio, like I think just people on doing on their own Instagram, they're filming from their house.
Right.
That's true.
So it's kind of like, I can see their bedroom and bathroom. I can see that much. But I used to love it. Yo, here's where we make the beats. We go in this closet.
Yeah.
And then they're like, check out the fridge. So here's what we got. We got Coke. We got water. We got some Gatorade. And I don't know why I was fascinated with that.
And there was always Cristal in the fridge.
Yes. This is for the special occasions.
Yeah.
And then here's the 90-inch TV room or whatever. It was so fascinating to get into people's lives. And now we're already in everybody's lives too much. So it's just kind of like, I can't just keep watching homes. I still love, you do real estate.
Yeah, it is fun looking in people's homes.
Yeah, you do it to make money.
Yeah.
Well, Pimp My Ride, I'd love to know people that did something to their car, because their car is their life. Because Pimp My Ride, it debuted, like I said, March 4th. It was actually yesterday was the 20th anniversary, and it only went till June 9th. I guess at some point you just can't do much more to a car.
Well, I think word started getting out that what they were doing to these people's cars was actually awful. Because a lot of people felt like they got ripped off and scammed. Because what would happen is, so they would put like a PlayStation 2 in somebody's car, right?
Yeah.
So they would film the episode. Exhibit would go, yo, you love video games. Here's a PlayStation in your car. Or you love fish. Here's an aquarium that we put in your car. But when they would install the electronics in Pimp My Ride, they would film it, and then before they would leave, before they would stop filming, they would take it all out.
Oh, I would just drive away.
Exactly. So if you had a TV and a PlayStation hooked up in your car, they would take the TV and the PlayStation out, but they would still have all the cables and setup for that, but you would leave with
Why would they take it out?
Because of their brand partnerships, they would have to highlight it, but they wouldn't actually give you a PlayStation.
Well, I didn't know
crap.
that.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm starting to ruin Pimp My Ride.
You ruined Pimp My Ride.
That's Jip My Ride. Like, that's awful.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
About 10 minutes away from Cage the Elephant, I guess.
So you want to be a player, but your wheels ain't flying. You got to hit us up to get a pimped out ride. Damn right.
Oh, so good. Pimp My Ride 20 years ago this week as we talk about this ongoing series. Things that blow my mind that came out 20 years ago. Case always laughs when I say, what was that, like 7, 8 years ago? And I looked it up. Nope, that was 2004. And there's so many things 2004 gave us that we don't give enough credit to that year for.
The impetus of this was off air one day. We were talking about Lisa Left Eye Lopez, as we do.
Yes.
Sure.
And you were talking about the time she burned down somebody's house.
Andre Risen's house.
Yes.
It
I
was
remember that.
Yeah, see, Cara
Yeah.
remembers.
And Brian was like, what was that, like 8 or 9 years ago? I go, dude, it was 25 years ago. And we realized we now have no concept of time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because she died 20 years
That's
ago.
right, yeah.
I mean, holy crap, don't go chasing waterfalls.
That was
That was like if Pete Wentz did Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls.
I ran out of breath. Boy, I got to start doing some cardio.
An Olympic athlete you are not.
You're not going to chase any waterfalls.
Yeah, he's out of breath. He needs an inhaler.
Woo, I'm exhausted trying to sing waterfalls. So we're asking you about things on your cars, by the way, things you did to them to pimp them out. Because Pimp My Ride was so fun to watch. I'm blown away by a couple of the facts. First off, case dropping, and that they didn't let people keep that stuff they put in their car, like the PlayStation, whatever it was at the time.
Yeah, PS2, yeah.
PS2. And they did all kinds of crazy things. We'll have a list of those in a second, but let's take some people on the phones. Miguel checking in from Lowell that pimped out his car, I guess. Is that right, Miguel?
Yes.
You're on the air, Miguel. Did I lose you? I guess the phone didn't work in the car too well for the speaker.
He tried to install a car phone. That was his problem.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Miguel. Well, he said something about he pimped out his wife's Traverse.
I know. I wanted to hear more about that.
Are you still there, Miguel? You back? Nope, that's too bad.
That's so weird. We heard him for just a second.
Yeah.
I know. It's very unfortunate. Call back, Miguel. I want to hear from you. Dakota's checking in as well, one of our crew members. Dakota, what's up?
Ahoy. So it's not so much related to the Pimp My Ride, but at the same time, they were doing Extreme Home Makeover.
Yeah.
And as it turns out, that actually destroyed many people's lives.
Yeah.
Why?
So they would, okay, here's like your ranch house, and it's like you want it to be upgraded. Okay, so we're just gonna just annihilate and just take the whole thing down. We're gonna just build you a brand new home. The problem is they would build you a brand new massive home, and what ended up happening is some of the electronics they would add, the jacuzzis, the spas, whatever else, it was so much for taxes that these families couldn't afford it, and some of them ended up going into foreclosure, bankruptcy. They had to just move out. They just had to flee that neighborhood. They couldn't afford it.
This segment's getting depressing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but that on the same token of, Pimp My Ride wouldn't let you keep the electronics because it was such an investment. The Extreme Home Makeover, they kind of were like, here's all these things. Have fun paying for it.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
My neighbor was on that, I think it was called Trading Spaces, where other neighbors redo your house over a weekend.
Yes.
And it was a nightmare because they decided to do a beach theme. So they had sand in their living room. It was a nightmare. But they paid to get it almost back to normal, though. That's what I remember.
Yeah. Because I figured they just drove off in these things. I don't know what they did with them after that. Well, thank you, Dakota, for checking in. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
312-591-8300. I think we got Miguel back on. Miguel, what's up? Do we have Miguel back again? Did we lose him again?
You sounded crystal clear to me just a second ago off the air.
Miguel, you messing with us? You trolling us? I guess that's so weird.
It's not a very good troll. It's just dead air.
Well, here's some audio from a guy, Zach Sang.
Yes,
who does a podcast.
good show. Yep.
And he was talking about Pimp My Ride. Did he work on the show?
No, so they discussed the fact that there was kind of almost like a behind the music that was in the works on Pimp My Ride and some of the awful things that happened to the people on the show.
Real talk. Remember the show Pimp My Ride?
Yeah.
So I worked at a show where we were thinking about doing a segment with people that used to be on Pimp My Ride.
And where are the cars now? That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Horror story.
Really?
All of these people were completely taken advantage of.
That's the story we need to be telling.
So I got a hold of, let's say they did 60 episodes through Facebook and other digging. I got a hold of maybe 20 people that appeared on the show.
Wow.
And all of them had the same story, which is this. They had their show completely, or their car completely redone. And most of them, if you remember, they would put PS2s in the back. And TVs.
Bro, there were fish.
An aquarium.
Yes.
There was literally one with an
Bro, there were
aquarium. What
fish.
happens after the show stops filming? They take all that stuff out of the car.
What?
But they leave all the other changes they made. So, in the back, if they put a PS2 and a TV, after the show, they take away the TV, take away the PS2, but leave everything else they've done to the car.
The mounts and the wires, they
Yes!
left those weird plastic in there.
And then they did nothing to the actual mechanical components to the car. So,
I mean, everybody seems to be stunned about what happened.
Well, you were.
I am. I didn't know that.
too.
Did
I
everybody
didn't know.
listening believe that they just kept those cars and did it?
You thought Exhibit was changing lives for the better.
Oh, somebody checked in and said Exhibit didn't even know what was going on with the cars.
That's true.
He did an interview recently and talked about that where he said, I didn't know what was going on there. I just kind of hosted the show.
That makes sense when you take half a second to think about it because he was Exhibit the rapper, not Exhibit the mechanic.
Yeah.
It would make sense that he didn't know what was up.
But I assumed he was into it. Like, I assumed he was, a part of the deal. Like, oh, I want to do that show because I'm passionate about cars.
Yeah, but they didn't say exhibit, grab a wrench, make a difference in this person's life. He just had to cut a few stand-ups and a few promos.
That was West Coast Customs. I wonder if they still exist that did that. West Coast Customs were the ones that did all the stuff to the cars.
Which is different than West Coast Choppers, I would assume.
Correct. Different thing. Huh. That's a whole other show we can get into, but we're not going to get it. Is that 20 years old?
Hold on just a second. I got to figure out when that premiered.
The guy married Sandra Bullock.
Oh, yeah.
What was his name?
Isn't that weird that he married Sandra Bullock?
I think so.
It's weirder that she married him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that way about Sheryl Crow and Kid Rock, too, where it's like, this was...
Wait, they're married?
Yeah, well, they were. They were at least dated.
Jesse James.
Jesse James.
Jesse James. Yeah. All right. Well, we got all the reality shows from 2004 coming back. They were also, all these shows were so good.
I know.
The only one I watch now is The Challenge. I mean, the Challenge still exists. It's the best show on TV. Although last season was the worst one they ever did, by the way, the last season. But all these shows were the best shows.
Okay, I think the TV show premiered in 2001.
Oh, we missed it. We missed the 20th anniversary of West Coast Choppers.
We got to do a 23-year anniversary of West Coast Choppers.
It doesn't have a good ring to it.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.